Many people have likened the Hamas attacks to being Israel's 9/11, and regardless of how well you think that metaphor it fits, it definitely conjures up strong emotions in the United States. And as everyone will remember, the rampant Islamophobia that took a stranglehold on the United States after 9/11, we are seeing a resurgence of that right now, because a Chicago area landlord was arrested and charged with murder and hate crimes after authorities said he stabbed and killed a 6-year-old Palestinian American boy and seriously wounded his mother, allegedly because they were Muslim. CNN reported that Joseph M. Czuba, who's 71, was charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of a hate crime, and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, the Will County, Illinois Sheriff's Office said in a news release. The United States Justice Department has also opened a federal hate crime investigation into the attack, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced on Sunday, excuse me. So here we have a picture of the murderer who carried out this heinous hate crime. But more importantly, we have a picture of 6-year-old Wadia Al-Fayumi, celebrating his 6th birthday just a few short days ago. So a little bit more details on what happened, what we know so far. And I want to say massive props to CARE, who the Center for American Islamic Relations, who has been on top of this story from the first moment, because I'll say I live here in Chicago. The initial reporting on the story did not call it what it was. They did not call it a hate crime motivated by anti-Muslim sentiment, anti-Palestinian sentiment, but CARE did immediately. They got the facts immediately and had a press conference and called it exactly what it was. And because of that, now the other news outlets here in Chicago have been forced to call it what it is. And it's gotten a lot of attention because of their excellent advocacy work. But so some more details from CNN. The family had lived on the house's ground floor for, 2 years without previous, previous notable issues with Czuba. But in text to the boy's father from the hospital after the attack, Shaheen said the landlord knocked on their door, and when she opened, he tried to choke her and proceeded to attack her with a knife, yelling, "You Muslims must die." She hid in the bathroom to call 911, and by the time that she exited the bathroom, she found that he had stabbed her son 26 times and killed him. Now, as I mentioned, Merrick Garland announced on Sunday that they are opening a federal hate crime investigation into the stabbing as well. Also, the mother is expected to survive. Her injuries were critical. She is still in the hospital, but she is expected to survive. Now, as heartbreaking as the story is, we're going to have to prepare ourselves because this is unlikely to be the last. FBI Director Christopher Wray said that the FBI has seen an increase in reported threats in the United States amid the Israel-Hamas war. The FBI official noted that over the past week, the agency has seen an uptick in rhetoric targeting Jewish people as well as Muslim institutions. FBI officials have also been meeting with leaders in Jewish and Muslim communities across the United States as the threats increase. The goal of these meetings, both in person and over the phone, has been to tell leaders, if you see something that concerns you, please let us know because we want to keep you safe. And Senator Turner, I'm worried because this isn't enough. Particularly, I live in a majority Muslim community. There is a lot of reasonable apprehension amongst Muslim American communities with working with the FBI, which after 9/11 illegally spied on members of the community, erroneously put many Muslim Americans on the do not fly list because they happen to have the same name as someone who committed atrocities halfway across the world. They have roped Muslim Americans into conspiracies. There is rightfully fear in working with these organizations. I think what we really need to be focusing on is the spread of Islamophobic rhetoric, on our mainstream media. I saw on CNN, they interviewed a man, an Israeli fighter who said we need to turn Gaza to dust. No pushback from the journalists. This Islamophobic rhetoric is spreading from our politicians, from our media, and we need to take the fight to where it's beginning. And we can't just try to utilize law enforcement to come in after the fact, after these heinous crimes have been committed. We need to be killing this where it starts.
Yeah, I mean, we do. I'm almost speechless here, Ray, because this is incredibly hard and difficult. And, I think back to 9/11. My father is a black man, but he is Muslim. He's a practicing, he practices and he has a Muslim name. And when 9/11 hit, I was always worried about him and just thinking, as hard as this society is on black men, in that moment, his only saving grace, ironically, was that he is a black man on sight, before they hear his name, but still worried. And I'm worried about him right now. I know most of the Islamophobic, the targets are Arab Americans or people of Arab descent and not necessarily people who are converts to Islam. But it is something that we all should be incredibly concerned about. What are we doing when a 6-year-old baby in the United States of America can be stabbed 26 times because their parents, his parents are Muslim, they are practicing Muslim? What does that say? There is something terribly wrong. And it goes back to something that Dr. Robert Reich said about the creeping in of hatred is a poison, that this 71-year-old man thought it okay to do what he did. This stuff is going to spread. Definitely to Jewish institutions, to Muslim institutions. But let's ask ourselves, what the hell are we doing? And as far as I'm concerned, the White House, none of those leaders are doing enough to tamp this kind of stuff down. As a matter of fact, some of them are putting gasoline on the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And we all gonna get burned at some point. Nobody is going to escape this, not here at home and not abroad. And that is why a ceasefire and a way to finding peace is in fact the only way. There is no other way.
Absolutely. And, no matter how many Biden spokespeoople, the press secretary or whoever, the State Department calls us repugnant and disgraceful, I'll continue to be repugnant and disgraceful and demand
for humanity.
Ceasefire. Yeah.
Right. For humanity. Right. Go after Hamas, so let us make it clear. Go after Hamas, get them. But to just kill innocent people all over the world, we're gonna pay for this.
Right.
As a human species, all of us at some point are gonna pay for this.
Absolutely. The only thing that's repugnant and disgraceful is the murder of innocent civilians here in the United States, in Gaza, and Israel.
That's right.